Ula mnwazi wine ngosiyazi ngonyana nefa. Azena anozitshela.
Ano mai intro ni mane. Agora
Ah, nene right. What minute?
and right. Moyo nkadha ntaro.
And araba khadane fa malubani.
Zina mi. Hi guys, kuni tanganeza kai episode ya The Black Couch. Namsiri unochinja scenario ngozibona. Azari ko chinja. Ndizina nukhambela zori wachinja blend.
Fan wachinja. Ndaskoda nichida hasho ngondo bona vangu ndo arela ntebela yani.
Wenza kuti dana.
Ai.
Unami.
Ai.
Obvazulula.
Yeah, don't shoot camera.
Come the review Bachela. Yeah, so guys, namse una change of scenery, so lens up studios hapa Newtown. Baita za photography na studio booking. So when at the book anangarini. Namse rina rubano bana rubango zwana. So they are found on 866 Car Street hapa Newtown. If you want to contact them, they 081 473 4775. Yeah, numbers one. Yeah, so Jindil.
Enda.
Right.
In the right.
So, you remember Tomenga. I thought Tomenga acoustic is a guy.
Ngazonobia daka fanoni. Yo botanical gardens. Yeah.
Not the no picker.
Ah, so.
Yeah, so I remember Rebecca in Guy Nori Jindil Indi.
And those devoted the one name was this song.
Tamuno done prepare.
Ah, tungo prepare.
Prepare speech.
Oh. Ah, and then this go wenwa otiamani in it. Nefala ke la badi na ngushimsa neve we luni wala bridge hapa la nela ya tabani wana chimula ngangeni mrao
But then kushimsa go
ndikhamba bathu bathanda uthi bashimsela badi la
mrao I have got to mention sorry but requita
no ndingwathi amanini
yeah
there's not much I can say about Jin Daily but otherwise na zoro teni bathu bachibuso findi bonye mamodi thoma mongori bone baita mini so mara ngomfesa yeah so nene soko bayengwa wathi so yeah manini
dzina la bukuma ndifemeri there hapo
ndifimusuku yeah thiko zina dzina langa
yeah nane ndikashimza Jindili ari musuku
yemna zoro musuku jamba mini abe ndishimsa Jindili uri ndibe hambulo ngomfesa
no mara gold is something different from musuku. I'm going to say musuku. Yeah, so zinala Jindilo bagelo nini.
Ndirafusa ma. I love high school man. Yeah, mara lindika metric then la modiba popular more like the kazi first year na pa na menzote. Kazi space za the art na the jazz na the poetry na menzote. So ndani mtu ni host body. So ndani na kwa collective nyana so. It was like a poetry duo actually. It was me and some other lady. So it was called Ginger and Honey.
Ginger and Honey.
Yeah. Yeah, long story. I'm
sure Honey is the girl.
Yeah. Actually. Yeah. Mara, yeah, so the Jin name came from that cuz yeah.
And then where's the Honey now?
I don't know. Somewhere in the world doing whatever. I don't know. I wouldn't know.
Were you dating it at that time?
No, never that.
No, I don't need yours with. I don't be free.
No, I was not dating Honey.
Okay, and then that you were doing this poetry and all that.
Yeah.
You know what are you actually doing in life?
Yo, first of all, I'm living. That's what we're all doing. But I'm doing a lot more, man. I run an agency. Yeah, design, like basically marketing stuff, if it's space in and yeah, hosting shows. Yeah, pretty much that, man.
And then what other shows are you hosting besides this Nongabo Acoustic?
Okay, so I feel like, as you know, the main focus is acoustics. We are also trying to launch some new shows. We have a slam, which is just poetry stuff. Acoustics and poetry is sort of like the poetry part. Yeah, and we didn't have a lot of poets showcasing, especially Venda. So, you know, the poetry scene in Venda is it's not there yet, right? Like, I don't know if you know about the poetry scene in Gauteng or Cape Town or whatever. Mara, it's like, the poetry scene in Venda is very tomayada. So we're trying to introduce new shows, new concepts on Zaba, like basically just on poetry alone. Where we can do things called slams, which are basically like poetry competitions. And yeah, so that's one of them. Now the pop-up situation, which is the thing that we always host before Acoustics and Poetry.
Yeah.
And then Roita Univene, Roita Tabani, Roita Rokumamas. Yeah, Rokumamas. Yeah. Mara, if you remember Richie Toma, I've been reading about what Toma host Tabani, like Tabani Ndaso. So we used to host in front of, if you entrance number 3, can I mean what Nepal Ndaso. But Bachipira Nepal, yeah. So yeah, that's one of the things. Mara, outside of that, there are new events that personally I'm trying to launch this side, Gauteng side, but then outside of that, rina the concept in Sozon push Venda, not just on shows alone, even Suzonezanga push what I'm bindu, like young business people, because as Venda Creative Cartel, it's also one of like our main functions. You know, we're trying to uplift the youth in business, in whatever it is, especially so the corporate and art. Yeah, business and art stuff. Yeah.
Okay. And then speaking of Rokomamas, you ever been in gig Rokomamas ya teenage votonga tavern straight. Unachimanga cheza trend bad. No, I those are gig you mara peza Rokomamas uchivotonga.
Okay, nazoro ita I don't think they are. Yasha itu runge tavern. Mara, what happened is that Renero Tomo usta Rokomamas, and then I think but Rokomamas Yatabani specifically Rokomamas is a brand. So I think they could actually do some events and stuff. Marazashu, they were very chilled events. It was, live performances and poetry. And then Karanyana Rose told me I think the events that Rokomamas were like 4 years ago. Right, yeah. So whenever Bangwat Moditomo hosting gay, just what I'm saying, Havana Diabli, Havana Mini, and then the Busa, it is a sort of Mamas. Yeah. Ngosbona. What thing is, Nerum Budivazi culprit, Ngosbona. Or the Acoustics. Nero to it as something, Mara, Boneba Modidaba, it as Wabo Bonaboni, then how Diberim, but one host and Diabalaniba Acoustics. Yeah. Okay,
and then non commercial you wanna uplift to Zavenda, I mean, in terms of art and business.
Yeah.
So also you're based Jobek, I'm assuming that.
Yes.
So why not that this side? Is it because of opportunities needs are running up on and skills you can attain from this side and then Venda?
Okay.
Can we just like Venda or Pisa?
Nah. I'm hoping and that I'm hoping it's not controversial, it's based on my observation. Okay, there's all the tomorrow Venda and Pitori. Venda do until grade 5. Fotonga ke podcast to Janachkeva and just on tabadi son. Shout Potri Oscar grade 5.
Yeah.
Nava yana budanga na Pitori. Niji da Pitori, so apano main reason it's like this is my
the home ground.
Yeah, the home ground default setting was one. Even though Ndora Pitori, I feel like now I'm more on the Joburg side of things. Mara, in any way, I think nobody Venda, after like about 15 years of being in Pretoria or so, nobody Venda. That's where we started the company as Space in Investcom, which is and Acoustics and Poetry as well started during that 3 years that I was in Venda. So what I realized about Venda is that it's very hard to live in Venda and be inspired to do things in Venda. Personally for me, at the work kabang batu it's because kanji batu I realized or need to dope Venda it's when you go outside and be inspired and travel and see things, because we don't have a lot going on in Venda, and that's going on, it's usually like similar things. That's why Acoustics and Poetry, people will tell you, I don't know, I think you'd also say that it's very different from a lot of the events that are happening in Venda, right? So those are things that become very hard for you to create when you're only exposed to the environment. So I think the idea is more like you need to be exposed. You attend that event. Kashangola event, Kashangola, whatever it is that you want to focus on, be it poetry, be it jazz or whatever. And then like be so inspired, like I wanna see this, but I wanna see this happen at home. So ni Venda every day, ni kovua Venda, na idra Venda, na ita mini Venda. It's also hard to like ni feel or yeah mina yestu zingaba dope zizoba dope guy ngone kozibona Venda ngomfesa ntozibona somewhere near Cape Town monori ukutambiwa whatever it is never like this will be dope if I could bring it back to my people. Yeah, so yeah, I feel like the functional better ndipa ngomfesa. The only thing chone ndingari chankawada Venda the connection ya internet. Internet yawa slow ya jabo.
Yeah, so okay, I remember acoustic. So who came up with this idea, acoustic and poetry?
Okay, so acoustics and poetry is an idea that was funded by myself and a lady who's called Atinga Ramablana. So what happened was, so Nendika Mapungwa poetry, like I told you, since high school.
Yeah.
So Atinga was sort of like my poetry student, if you would say that. She was still in high school, right? And so she had a thing in Venda called Mwala Writers Club. And what Mwala Writers Club was, it was essentially a writing workshop for young writers. Yachifarero library, it's in yeah, Nepal. Nepal. So what she would do is that she would invite me to come and perform. So I'd come down with some of my guys this side. I was part of like a poetry group again called Black Suburbia. So we'd come down and showcase. And when I'm in Venda, I would give her some, I'd give her some poems that, introduce her to like new writers and stuff like that, that are popular in Joburg. I'd give her some anthologies and reading material and stuff. And so she had this thing where like, we need to do something in Venda, like have a poetry, whatever, and stuff. So I think that's where the idea of acoustics and poetry sparked. I came back that year, we hosted our first show, right? I called it Acoustics and Poetry, open mic picnics at the time.
Yeah.
And then her job was more like, she's a very, even now, right? Like I could say, Uri, Timiashu, we have a team of like 8 people, including myself. Timiashu, in terms of organization, she's just that person. So she wrote letters to the botanical gardens, or okay, cool, we want to do something like this and whatever. Then we submitted that, and then people came through. I think this was in,
Yeah, I was about to ask, when was it?
2018. Yeah, I think around 2018. Yeah, and so that's where it came through, right? Richard Homa, it was literally just like an open mic picnic. Nice danako. And then there was literally no stage, nothing, so that's where it came through.
Acoustic and trauma.
I want to yogurt. I want to strawberry. Nazi pizza, the romance. And that's why
I don't know it.
Okay, I think to about it. Okay, I happen I need to put one on the offer a bogisi la pizza so comes in the editor and le for podcast.
What will it happen?
Na lady. Yeah, na lady. Bo fara le bogisi la special la pizza la romance la
La 99 rand.
La 99 rand. So no this is the vibe. Yeah, so it literally grew from there. But yeah, I think so yeah, me and Atinga Ramablana, she is, without her, I feel like acoustics and poetry would not be, I don't think I would have been inspired to even go down to Venda and for us to start this thing. Yeah.
Okay. And then you mentioned something about like us having like sort of like the same vision for Venda. So what's your guys' vision for whatever Venda?
I'm going to definitely tell you that the vision that we have for Venda is one that I found in Venda already. And I was so inspired by this quote. I don't even know who came up with it. I don't even know who owns it. But I definitely adopted it. And the vision that we also carry, in a nutshell, is the vision of it goes under the same title, From Venda to the World, right? Nane, I'm sure you've heard about that title before, From Venda to the World. It's not mine. I'm far from it. Like, I just found it there. But I found it so inspiring because I feel like as a person on the Orera Makuanity, one thing I can tell you is that, it was like not easy like back then, but like like way before president like Venda, especially if you dark skinned, but it was hard for a pimp dog. Like it was hard. Like so I just felt like, even if not Nasizakamapungo as the artist, like just I feel like okay, first we had Dr. Colbert Mukwebo, who's like a big, musician in Venda. But then after him, it was only like Makazi is like the next sensation. Sure, we have Uno Rams and stuff like that as well, that are pushing. But like it's a handful of people that you can say like are Venda people. We're only breaking ground now in terms of being known in the art space. We also have, and the thing is we're doing all these things. Like we have so many people that are talented in the arts, Mara. It's just so hard to break out of the industry in anything that has to do with creativity. Like, there are a lot of musicians and artists by Venda. You thought at least after 10 years or 15 years or whatever years this person would be international.
What do you think?
No, I'm not thinking about anyone.
No,
Mara, these people are just...
No. Una 10 years and 15 years.
Kana 5, kana 2.
No, I didn't. Because we both know who you're talking about.
No, I don't know who you're talking about.
Everyone knows who you're talking about.
Okay, cool. Then whoever you're thinking about is, yeah or no, you won't complain.
As in bomb marati.
Then you bomb. Obama dum daza. I mean, that guy is dope. That dude
As
actually...
Mizo.
That dude, Emar, check out bomb. Nisi ndinyogo eda. Abe bomb ndiye track out home ya blind ya ven repoti. Tom fanga ila ya bomb.
Yeah. Mara, do you think Mizo do akure na Mara?
Yo, Mizo is dope, bruh. Like, why are you laughing?
No, they are going to put this straight.
Or ash doba kule, how kule?
I don't know.
I mean, here's the thing. I don't know if it's a thing about like a language barrier na menzo tete. I feel like the world is so accepting of like so ini ratamba luimbo lwanyi la Riki Rico, whatever, the late whoever. It like, and that song could be in Zulu. Right now as a Venda guy, you'd know the lyrics to that song.
Yeah,
word for word, right? Mara, I think there's like this ignorance that comes when it comes to like people kogudachi Venda. I feel like but and so it's very hard when who doesn't speak any Venda rapping a Mizo song word for word. Just what I'm saying. So to some point, I don't think it's because of us or it's because people like, are lacking resources or whatever. It's just that I think the country and the world needs to open itself up to understanding our language and like what we have to offer when it comes to the arts, in music, what we have to offer when it comes to the lyricism and everything. Yeah. So, yeah. Mizo, I think, Mizo is insane, bruh.
And he would have been international.
Yeah, he can still be international. Like I'm saying right now, there are barriers beyond him, perhaps, that, like, okay, so look at Una as well, right? So Una has always had an more like an international, more palatable sound to people, in the sense that Suzawe, like ever since he was like coming up, when personally I got introduced to his music, and I was one of the it's like that cool kid market and whatever. But then he also then started incorporating Chivenda into his music and stuff like that, and that was like hella dope. I remember this hella track officiaranga Speedster. And then on it, just that part alone, right? Like, and it's so crazy to see such a mainstream track with like something said in Venda. Yeah. So Bangobatu, I guess, maybe like that's another way of sneaking up into the market. Maybe nichitomangas to zonem those faces, and then after that, usnori like people know you now, and then you can introduce them to other stuff. But then again, to each his own, but wangasite strong and they don't know. Yeah.
Okay, so you spoke of you guys being 8 katim away. How do you guys control power? Because I'm not sure if not for now and the ambazipere and all that, because there's so many of you guys there.
So we definitely have hierarchy in the sense of like the positions that we occupy, and obviously in terms of our skill sets and what we're good at. So basically Venda Creative Cartel is an organization. Acoustics and Poetry is a concept of that organization, right? So we could create other concepts and what so on. So as a company, 8 people, all these 8 people, we are of equal shareholding to this company, right? It's a very, it's a very, what's the word? Democratic. It's a very democratic vibe. But in terms of leadership, you know, we don't have the same skills. We're gifted in different ways. So people occupy different positions, and we don't make the same decisions. You know, and I can tell you right now, I think in our 5+ years, I think we're turning 6. Like as a company, right? We've had to learn a lot. And this is especially and then there's only one lady and stuff like that. And I was majita, like majita blind. But you know, I think I'm very proud of us as a team, because I think over that time we've learned how to like work together and put our differences aside and just resolve like conflict resolution important in organization. So in terms of acoustics and poetry, Venda creative cartel, you know, like it's those guys, everyone. Just what I'm saying. Everyone.
What position do you hold there?
Nah?
What position do you hold?
Oh, I'm CEO. Yeah, I'm CEO of the company. And being CEO of the company, it's not like forever. No, it's you serve a term. Just what I'm saying. And then after serving that term, if the team sees it fit for you to like continue another one and stuff like that, or if you'd like to step down and do something else or whatever, you can do that. So it's also important to give other people a chance to lead, you know, because everything about this organization is about not just empowering people outside, but also empowering ourselves. You know, we didn't wait to be put in positions at high corporate or whatever. We decided to start an organization, and it's also there to sharpen Zvikiri in terms of leading, in terms of like, you know, running like, you know, high risk events and, you know, just being organizational. So maybe next year I won't even be CEO. I might be playing a different position or whatever the case may be. Someone else will get a chance to step up into that position and be responsible for the next 3 years or so or whatever. So that's how everything basically functions.
And then for this year, you went with the theme Rise Child, did you?
Rise Child, yeah.
Where does that thing come from? Like a phrase or kuno?
Yo, man, so I feel like, you remember what I was saying earlier on about Venda capacity? But also, again, if you look at it in the African context, like Nasidza, just as being an African person, but I like, yo, it's hard to think of like any African civilization around like, in the world. Anyone to stand this to
no, you know something, African, you mentioned it's an African thing, and then let's change if Africano, because it's a thing you don't want, like you continuously work with us African.
No, yes, African.
How do you mean?
African Inferno.
Yeah, I'm going to like I always say to know how to push it. It's an African thing all the time. So okay, it makes sense. Because even the thumbnail no shimmy, I saw this lady on Noshim so this year. So it's an African thing.
So I mean, you would say that if you look at South Africa, bro, like your Venda, we're very close to like we're very African, right? Like it's greenery, everything. And I think it's one of those things where, we've been like Shangom and push the Eurocentric concept. Like, so I think there is such pride in being an African person. And so the Rise Child concept also just comes from that thing. You're like, Nam singo to say some Venda, if not be another one, or whatever, right? Like, as an African person anywhere in the world, like at some point, if you go down in some history or whatever, you've suffered something. So I mean, I feel like, you know, it's just, especially also if you look at what's happening in Africa right now, like where countries are like now finally trying to fight for their independence. Like, so it's literally that time to rise in whatever way you can think about it. It's about empowering the African child to be beyond whatever limitations, whatever system is put in front of us. I mean,
Okay. And then why do you think people call this event of yours a private school event? This is
okay.
And I'm sure you know. Then says it wrong.
No. The private school part, anyway. You know why, nah? I think because this is an event that actually you need to listen to something that's being said by someone at some point. Because here's the thing about an event, right? Hey, sorry man, don't move, it's on my car. Think about like a lot of events in Venda, they're groove events, right? There is no point of interaction for anything. No one is gonna be on the mic saying whatever. You go there, you buy your booze, you groove, you drink. There's no engagement, right? So there's a lot of engagement when it comes to acoustics and poetry. I mean, like, you'll have a lot of poets. I think it comes from the poetry aspect of things.
Yeah.
The fact that, you know, when, you know, a lot of poets will be there reciting their poems, because I remember I used to read some Facebook comments of stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's where it comes from. I mean, poetry is an art form that actually requires you to listen to what's being said. It's fun rap, punchline. So I think people call it that because of the challenge that comes with you actually having to listen to what's being said, and not just about being at a groove where, you know, you're just there to get sloshed and have fun or whatever the case may be. There's a certain level of presence that is required from you when you come to a show like Acoustics and Poetry, because you know, someone is performing and you're listening. What are you listening to? You know, why is this thing dope? Why are people snapping? What's the snapping thing even about? Yeah.
Okay, and then in terms of ticket sales, like, it's been 5 years now. So would you say attendance, because obviously you're gonna see that in terms of tickets, would you say it's gradually increasing? Can at some point in your stagnant for the past 5 years? I
think I would not base that on ticket sales. I'd base that on COVID. Like, COVID did a thing to us. I don't know if you remember Acoustics and Poetry 2019.
2019.
We had that's the biggest acoustics we had. We had like about 2,000 people at the Gardens, right? Yeah. And after that, when we did our next show, we had limitations.
Yeah.
So I think since 2019, since COVID, it's just been about trying to recover and sort of like reintroduce the concept, because there was a year we didn't have acoustics and poetry.
Yeah.
Right? And so recovering from that, like, I mean, when an event is about like 6 years old, it might seem like it's been happening for a long time, but it's still really young, you know. And you need to constantly, especially when it's an event that happens once a year.
Yeah.
When an event happens, I mean, at some point we used to do it like, you know, every quarter and whatever.
Yeah, I was about to ask that.
Yeah.
June and December.
Yeah, but then we started doing it like once a year, and so to keep people invested in an event that happens once a year that's still growing is also a challenging thing, especially after you've come down from COVID and stuff, right?
Yeah.
So I would say that attendance is coming back. We are chasing, we are looking forward to those COVID numbers. And in terms of ticket sales, we are trying to make it as accessible as possible. That's why, you know, if you check the ticket in the Randa, right, where we've made them cheaper than last year. You know, at some point when we started this campaign, we wanted to actually change the tickets and make them, you know, because at the end of the day, you know, there are overheads, there are costs, there are things that have to get paid, there are targets that have to get reached and stuff like that. But then because, you know, there's also this understanding where it's also a collaboration with our audience. It's also a collaboration with the people that actually attend the show. It's very important to also listen outside to what people are saying. And that's the Venda that the conversations about ticket sales are like, just what I'm saying. So that 100 Rand rate on my like a pre-sold, you know, and then we've kept it way longer than we were supposed to. And as you know, we haven't changed it yet. And that's mainly because we are listening to the conversations that are happening, and we are trying to do our best on our side to try and also cater to, you know, the market and try to make it as accessible as possible to Batwana, you know. Yeah, so I do think attendance is gradually growing. We are gradually going back to 2019 numbers.
Yeah.
But then also, I would say that, you know, doing these events is not just about chasing numbers. You know, it's also about having a quality production and making sure that you not only have people, but you have the right people. You know, and I'm not saying that it's a tricky one, this one, because what am I saying? Am I saying that there's a wrong person? But no. What I'm trying to say is, you know, you can have 20,000 people at your event, right? And then someone gets stabbed.
Okay.
Just what I'm saying.
Maybe goes on to Rela.
No, right? But I'm just trying to express the fact that, you know, sometimes it's also about your capacity as an event to have proper crowd control. To like an extent where are you ready? Do you have the capacity to be able to like properly facilitate like that number of people? And in terms of them being able to have a quality experience. Nasawane like what wakono the toilet aboshapo. By the bar now and a line for 5 hours. By a guy but so 9 to make sure like on an event level, you've grown to a point where you know how to manage that crowd of people. But I think we can easily handle 2,000 people. You know, so yeah.
And you've proved it.
No, we have proved it. That was like a massive event, you know, Okay. And we've learned a lot from that as well.
And then people were complaining the price ticket for some years back. And then so we sort of like wrote the ticket to $100. So if that will continue, are you gonna drop the tickets all the time?
No, actually. You know what's the thing, né? And you know, Venda is like our, as a Venda person, as a person that's doing events in Venda, and a person that like also attends events outside. And I can tell you right now, the Acoustics and Poetry, they know what's happening in the event world, right? Mara, it's almost like, you know, Venda is like our little child when it comes to like eventing, like that we have to always keep pampering and stuff because sometimes that are like, you're hoping people can understand what goes into an event. Just what I'm saying. Yeah, it's so crazy, bro. I got a comment this other day, like when someone was complaining about like the rules that we have, right? It's like, and the person's comment was like, yo, hey, baby, right now it looks like it's not about the people anymore. It's like you guys are trying to run a business. And I'm like, it is a business.
What rule
also,
was it? The alcohol. What rule was it?
No, I think it was about, I think it might have been about the alcohol and stuff like that, right? And I'm like, yo, you know, acoustics and poetry is very people-centered, but we can't shy away from the fact that at the end of the day, this is a business model. Just what I'm saying. There are people that work here. There are people that have actually let me tell you something that I probably shouldn't disclose or whatever, but I'm gonna say it anyway, right? For the first 5 years, even like, actually even till now, bro. Acoustics and Poetry hasn't made the kind of money that can pay the team, right? Which means that everyone that's in the team right now, like basically everything we've been doing up till this point, you know, has been like just making sure that the next event happens. We were fortunate enough this year to at least have been seen by Department of Sports, Arts and Culture that said, okay, we'd like to, you know, we applied for something and they, you know, for one of their fundings for an event, whatever, and then they kind of like, you know, were able to assist us. But up till this point, we were running this event from the proceeds of the previous event. Just what I'm saying? And some favors here and there. Meaning that no one, like, up till now, in my team, including myself, can say, like, I've lived off of this show. Which means that we've been to push an event for like 6 years, bro, and not literally seeing profit, just making sure that you can save money to make sure that you have the next one and have the next one better and bigger and stuff like that. That there's nothing that says it's for the people than that, bro. And so when you look at an event, you need to understand that as an organization, you need to look at, if you're going to make a profit, if you're going to be able to book the stage, this artist and all these things, where are your points? How are you going to make money, right? So the first thing that people are always looking at is the gate. People think the gate makes a lot of money. It doesn't really cover a lot from the gate, right? So there's the gate, then you have the stalls, right? And then even if you go to the stalls, you'll hear people saying that, stalls are too expensive, and then we make them more affordable and stuff like that, right? So you've got the gates, and you've got the stalls, and then
there's merch.
There's merch, right? Those are the three main things that people look at. But in events, we know that more money comes from sponsors, collaborations, and stuff like that. Just what I'm saying. That's when you're starting to build up. Now, obviously, if you're going to have sponsors and collaborations, you're going to have rules and regulations. Just what I'm saying. If you're going to have, say, you're going to have an alcohol sponsor, right? There might be some things that you'd have to agree to in terms of, you know, and the sponsorships exist for the well-being of the brand. Because I mean, if you hosting this podcast, okay, let's not talk about this podcast. Let's talk about if you're running a business for 10 years and then it's more of you putting money into that thing than that thing feeding you, and also just making it easier for you to do it and your team to do it. Ninga lata fulupero needed this thing, just what I'm saying. So at some point, it needs to also make sense to like the people that are waking up and the extra hands that are helping and whatever the case may be. And when you look at the stalls, it's like it doesn't completely make sense for us to say we are empowering young businesses and we're saying that, guys, come have stalls at Acoustics and Poetry. But at the same time, we are allowing people to go out and actually support like your big corporates, your the KFC and McDonald's and all that stuff, and bring it here where it's going to suppress the young businesses where someone is trying to sell a quarter and stuff like that. How are we empowering? I think empowering in that sense means that, okay, allow these people to cater to this audience that you have of 2,000 people. Just what I'm saying. And who are those people? Those people is like some sister from Njerere, some brother from Kuvi, whatever. Those are the people that have stalls that are selling. So it's not like or we're trying to make things difficult. We're trying to make this thing make sense for everyone. And there are some harsh realities that we have to face when it comes to eventing. And those are some of them.
And then this other time, I remember our episode of on the Diaries. We called him and then he mentioned that there's like upcoming artists, and then they are like established artists.
Yes.
How do you guys decide on that, or we can categorize them as up and coming?
I think that really goes back to what like Acoustics and Poetry started as, right? So Acoustics and Poetry started as Acoustics and Poetry open mic picnics, meaning that in the I don't know if you're familiar with the concept of open mics. So an open mic is basically a platform when we have a show, and if you want to perform, you can just jump on. Right? So the culture of like right? That's an open mic concept. It means that we didn't go to you. You came to us and said, we'd like to use this platform. And the reason we kept that, we felt that it was such an integral part of the brand from where we started, because we started off as an open mic platform. Right now, we're in a space where we've built with people and we have, managed to source some funds to be able to pay artists when right? But if we book you as an artist, obviously we have to compensate you. But if you come through and say, platform that segment of the open mic, creator, it exists for that purpose. Just what I'm saying. So iningas the can nema mnana ko the book and ngomfesa umzone. Mara ken ko the platform then ga platform or ni perform ken storms into impo ngomfesa umzone. Mara ningas the can then ishbeza na sharp. Nendi ko do the promoter, nendi ko do ushumsa platform yano. Mara ndichipeza ngene guy. Kerna rangani guy mara. Hey yo, it's I don't know if you're getting the point. And so what that does, and this is where the open mic is also important. So we find some acts from the open mic from 1 year that came through trying to use the platform to go, to get their work out there. And they end up being so good that the next year we call them on a booking. Just what I'm saying, it's like, oh, listen, man, your open mic set was really nice last year and stuff like that. We'd actually like to book you this year. Just what I'm saying. So that open mic thing, think about it as, there's an artist out there that we don't know, that has never had a platform, that could be really good, that has not been proven to us. So it exists for that artist to use that platform as an opportunity to get ahead and say, okay, cool, here's a platform, and then if your stuff is good enough and if the audience receives you well, that could also open up a platform but when you it's an event in a book and next year in a book. So I don't know if that clarifies things, because
it does, and people have been asking about that.
Yes, we do pay people.
So the 21st,
if not paid you must call me.
So on the 21st, the event is it's happening. Like who are some of the people? But I know Anyagwa, but
I can't tell you that, bro. Like, it's principle, and I'm sorry, this is how we do things. Actually, I'm not sorry, but this is how we do things. It's part of the concept, right? So, it's part of our concept. We don't drop the lineup.
Would you say maybe the unconfirmed artist that you don't want to disclose out there, and then what was it very?
No, it's not that, but actually does help with that as well.
Oh, okay.
It definitely helps with that as well. But what it is, it's just about making the concept about the concept, and not about the people. Just what I'm saying, right? We don't want it to be this thing where we always have to be chasing the biggest act, bruh.
Oh, okay.
Also because our platform is not about booking people that are already established. It's about establishing people. It's about helping people come up, right? And we don't want to do this thing when this year... And you know what the thing is, right? There are one or two artists that are like commercially known that are going to show up, right? And like, but you're not going to know who it is. And the reason for that is that if this year, Rari, we are bringing this one artist or whatever that you don't know or you don't want to give them a chance.
Yeah.
But have you ever discovered like a nice artist by chance, bruh? Like you're just chilling, you've never heard of this person, you don't know where they're from, and now you are genuinely, no one influenced you,
yeah.
you are genuinely connecting to them because they're really good. That's the type of environment we want to create, right? We don't want to use posters and names and stuff like that to get people hyped to coming to the event. We want you to have a genuine experience of what you are, of this person's work. Because we do know Venda, who are so skilled, who are so good at what they do, but they don't have that kind of name. But at the same time, there could be someone who's charging 100K, you know, who is not as talented as someone who could have just come out of your neighborhood.
Yeah, true.
Someone who you like, forget even paying for their work. You can't even share their stuff on Instagram. You can't even share their video on Facebook. Just what I'm saying. You're only going to support them when they blow up. So that's the thing. We want to create a space where we can genuinely support artists, not because of their PR or because they're famous or because they've been co-signed by who, but because they are good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and then now rambang alcohol before tea. So people just have this question now, or is alcohol gonna be allowed this year?
Inside. We're gonna have a bar inside. Right? We're gonna have our own bar. And we are also gonna publish our prices. Because I know people have
beforehand.
Yes, beforehand. We're gonna publish our prices beforehand, right? But it's also really important to understand that, you know, the prices are not gonna be expensive, but we can't compete with tops, bruh.
Yeah.
Just what I'm saying.
Yeah.
We cannot compete with tops. We cannot compete with like retail prices and whatever. But at the same time, we do understand that people don't want to pay 1 million. Né?
Yeah, true.
And so we'll make it really reasonable. You know, we're going to make it reasonable. We're going to disclose our pricing. You're going to know what it is beforehand. And yeah.
Okay, and then the stores are, how much are they going for this year?
All the stores are $1,000.
8?
No, $1,000. 1,000 rand. 1,000 rand. 1,000 rand, bro. 1,000 rand.
Yeah.
1,000 rand. Yeah, the stores are 1,000 rand. And yeah, that's just it.
And then for the store, okay, you said all, so it
please tell people it's not $8,000 again, bro. I need you to.
So just 1K, guys. Let's use K.
K, no?
Yeah, 1K, guys.
1,000 landa.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
1,000 rand.
And then the price is go find a stall whether the charge live can charge yambaro.
Yeah, so there was like a big debate that we got into that in terms of like, you know, should the stalls be different prices and whatever. And the thing that we ended up standardizing these prices to was because okay,
yeah.
Okay, in the 1,000 rand. Okay, man, then correct says Yambar. We're like, okay, sharp. Yambar ringa zita guy. Man, one correct such keep a 450 GT or whatever the case. I'm just trying to give you an example, right?
Yeah.
And then someone else is gonna, and then you think you've thought about everything else. Now you have to create a price for that thing.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, excuse me. We can't be creating. People have different things that they want to sell, bruh. That don't fall under maybe the categories that we would have thought about. So to simplify everything, we just standardize the prices. And you know what, bruh? Like, you could think it's a lot, Mara. It could actually be a bargain for you. Like, yo, dude, I only paid 1,000 rand and I was able to sell to an audience of over 1,000 people or whatever the case may be, and I made this much money or whatever. Yeah, so, and that's why if people feel like maybe like stores are expensive or whatever, it's also then now important to appreciate why we're saying people shouldn't bring food. Because now we're actually trying to maximize and emphasize you know, any point you're many, but bakono renga, bakono supporter, like, you know, local. Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, and then there's also a camp that's happening.
Yes.
And also, Elanto, I saw the dates because it's between the 20th and the 22nd, right?
Yeah.
And then the event is on the 21st. So how's that supposed to happen? Because I was confusing you. Did you check?
Okay, so the camp is happening at Makwatamani Outdoor, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen the place. So basically, we're gonna have activities there throughout the duration of the camp, right? So when you see those dates on the camp poster, that just speaks about things that are going to be happening at the camp. It's a chill spot. There are going to be performances. Even the after party, acoustics, we're going to host it there, right, at the camp, right? So we're going to have, even the artists that are going to be coming are going to be camping there. So you can imagine the experience, bruh, like just jam sessions and like, you know, performances, DJs, whatever, throughout the duration from the 20th until the 22nd. That's going to be happening at the camp full time. So if you're on a camp, but also with the camp, we're going to have day passes, meaning that if you don't want to camp, you just want to come through for the experience that's happening, you can have a day pass. We're going to drop those posters as well. Yeah.
Okay. And then for those whenever Angaba Sotuanga camp, can you just like outline the packages needs about one?
Okay. Can you put the packages somewhere here?
Yeah, I will do, as long as you give me the thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So we have got the main package, right?
Yeah.
Which is 1,000 Rand, and that package covers the camp spot, you know. So basically we have to rent camp spots at the camping place. Like little blocks. So it covers that. And then it covers your ticket to Acoustics and Poetry and all the entertainment that's going to be inside. But with that package, you transport yourself and you also bring your own tent. Just what I'm saying. It just covers you for like the sports and the activities that are happening inside. Yeah. The other 3 packages were mainly designed for people from Gauteng side who are traveling, right? Because we do have a market of people that, because we also collaborate with Black Labone. I don't know if you've heard about Black Labone, you should check it out. They have a big audience of people that are coming this side, and we wanted to find a cost-effective way of accommodating them and like just making this. And also, you know now, Ngazi festival, Ngazi events are so camping is like a thing. If you look at Opi Kopi, you know, there's a camping, like it's like, you know, this camping vibe thing. If you look at this event that just happened now, what is it? In Cape Town. Rocking the Daisies, stuff like that. Right now, Hey Neighbor. So this entire camping thing is being incorporated a lot into festivals, and I think it makes a lot of sense, you know, to involve that. Unfortunately for us, it's not happening at the same location where we're having the event and stuff like that, right? But then that also allows us to be able to push supporting Venda businesses. Venda, I think, is to the camp, and makes a lot of sense because you can imagine how, like, the place is so Venda, mamna. People want a chance to see Venda. So instead of people driving all the way from Joburg and whatever to be in Venda for one day, give them an experience. Let them see other things. Let them be exposed to like other establishments and other, you know, sites that they can see in Venda, and that's where that really, you know, comes from. Yeah.
Okay. And then,
so I didn't talk about the other packages, but the pricing, I guess you're gonna put the post that people get to understand.
And then another huge thing, on Acoustic, is that 3.5 giveaway. Everyone wants to know.
Oh, it's a slam. Yeah. So remember when I was talking about we are using that also to slowly introduce this new concept that we have, right? Of just focusing on poets, because poets now or like, you know, they feel like a lot of music has taken over and there are not enough poets at Acoustics and Poetry and stuff like that. So we decided to introduce this concept where it's a slam. So a slam is competitive poetry, is where people, you can either do it, we're doing it virtually, and we're gonna have an actual showcase. I think it's on the 19th. On the 19th of December, we're going to drop that as well. So basically, we have guidelines. You upload a video of your poem. It has to be a poem that was written by you, not something that you stole from someone or whatever, because there could be legal implications with that. And then you basically do a self-take. You do a video of yourself performing that poem. There are guidelines. The guidelines will tell you about how long the poem needs to be and stuff like that, and whatever other things you need to respect when it comes to that. And then there's going to be a panel of judges who are experienced industry poets and stuff like that are basically going to be able to judge basically who the winner and the second runner-up and whatever, or first runner-up, whatever categories and the giveaway.
Okay.
And so we're encouraging people to submit.
Before we close, I wanna put you on the spot now. Don't you wanna like give away a ticket? Come to maybe.
No, definitely.
Just one ticket.
I can give away. I can give away 2.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go. How do you want the person?
Is this thing live though, bro?
Not
how does that work?
Just give away the ticket.
Okay.
And then whoever wins on Tuesday, then they will get the ticket.
Okay.
Yeah. Because this airs on Tuesday.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what am I doing to give it away?
Do whatever you want. This is I create your ticket, whatever you want. So how do you want to present to it?
All right, awesome, right? So let me make the stakes higher, right? I'm willing to give away 3 tickets, right? And
must
merch.
Be nice being the CEO.
And merch. Nah, I'm gonna answer for this. So the gents are gonna watch this. I'm like, hey, Joe, we didn't agree to this. I'm gonna answer for this, right?
Yeah. But you say you're giving away a merch also.
Yeah, I'm also giving away merch, right?
So it's 3-3.
Yeah. So yeah, we got some dope merch dropping.
Yo.
I'm also wearing like this acoustics. I don't know how you're.
I love the white one.
The white one?
Yeah.
Like this type?
The concept, I'm not sure if it... No, it wasn't. It has something at the
like
back.
a face with the paint dripping and stuff like that. Oh, okay. And this one is also dope. Have you seen this one?
Don't you want to cast it?
Yeah, it's really dope. Yeah, but anyway, you're going to put the pictures up and stuff. Yo, but there's another one that's dropping, bruh. Oh, that one is like this one.
Better than the white one?
The thing is, white is a color, bruh. Which white one? This one has a white one as well. Or the one...
No, like...
Yeah, they're all dope, bruh. They're all dope.
Okay, we'll see when they all drop.
We'll see.
Yeah,
so I'm giving away 3 tickets and 3 shirts, right?
Yeah.
And I think all you gotta do is, I think the first thing, repost the poster, Acoustics and Poetry, right? So every single day, we post something on our story. Yeah. So if you reshare our story, tag 3 people, and what else? What do people do for social media? You tag people.
Oh, hey, comment what? Oh, comment I'm done.
Comment I'm done.
That's what he just said.
Like, let me make this clear.
And also, they should follow your page, maybe.
Yeah, follow our page. You have to. I feel like that's mandatory. You need to be a follower of our page.
Yeah.
You need to share. You need to tag at least 3 people.
Yeah.
Right? And so we're going to do this. This is one is going to be for the camp. The other is going to be for the slam. And the other one is going to be for the camp and the slam.
And the event.
Yeah. Yeah. And the event is the most important thing, but I'm saying this last. I'm forgetting. The event, do that for the event, do that for the camp, and do that for the slam, right? Yeah, so for each person, we're going to give you a ticket, and we're going to... should we make it for 6 people? You get a ticket or you get merch. Or you get a ticket
and merch.
Now,
let's make it 3 people.
3 people,
6
right?
Is too much.
So you get a ticket and you get merch.
Yeah.
No, I was going to say 3 get tickets and 3 get merch, but it doesn't make sense. You got to get both, right? Yeah. Yeah, so that's what you got to do. You follow the page, you like it, you tag 3 people.
Yeah. And then you know how we roll also. On our,
and we have 2 pages.
Just comment Karine apuka chuburi wadau ndopedza.
Yeah. So we also have the Venda Creative Cartel page and we have the Acoustics and Poetry page. Yeah, they usually post in collaboration to each other. So yeah.
Okay.
That's it.
Yeah, so okay, the ticket. I'm not the winner. We'll do the Rubuzaka episode and everybody winner. And then you 4 days also need to name win.
I'm not going to forward that. There were people that were asking about, hey, we should fit the camera. I don't know going to forward that. I'm going to forward that, right? So important to forward it. Mara, let me tell you where the risk came from with why. And here's the thing: if you are interested in photographing at Acoustics and Poetry, please email us or DM us and ask for a media pass and then someone is going to talk to you. The reason why we want like select personnel to have carry professional cameras, right, is that just what I'm saying. Like acoustics is Mara, we want to make sure that people's gear is expensive, guys. Just what I'm saying. So if a lot of people, if you're just there for the show, whatever, you can shoot on your phone. Just what I'm saying. Your phone is your personal thing. But we want to know that the people that are keving hairy gear, we are able to be accountable also for the gear that they have. The cameras don't go to himself and only I'm sure you've spent a lot of money. Just what I'm saying. So we know when you're holding a professional camera, you have a media pass. We've given you a media pass for free. And that's what about when I'm that media pass. We're getting media pass for free, but we're mostly saying that so that people's gear is protected, so that we know a person who's holding a camera is supposed to have that camera. It's their camera, they own it, it's their equipment. But when everyone has cameras and someone comes through and says, hey, someone stole my lens or someone stole my whatever, there's not much we can do because anyone has a lens. Everyone is authorized to carry a camera. Everyone, do you understand what I'm saying? So it's very important for us to clarify that. It's not anything to do about we don't want you to publish our content, whatever. No. Shoot as much as you can on your phones. And let the people that have media passes carry professional cameras. And we're gonna be accountable if anything happens because we know, or actually they partially gonna be accountable because they carry that risk of knowing what So all this and saying that if you do bring a professional camera and you don't have a media pass, if anything happens, we cannot be held liable
it's on
because
you.
we did say on the rules, sorry, yeah.
Okay. And then anything I didn't ask you want us to know about ANP?
It's gonna be lit. It's gonna be amazing, bro.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't already follow us, right? We are gonna have an after party because I know people want after parties. The set design is gonna be insane. I know a lot of people will put a botanical gardens are planning and then they're seeing some kind of construction outside. I want to clarify that it doesn't affect where we're gonna have the space. Where we're gonna have the event, right? The event is still gonna happen. It's gonna be properly set up. In fact, that whatever is happening could actually be playing towards our advantage, and you will see how that's gonna come about. But if you don't already have your tickets are still 100 Rand. I encourage you to get a ticket right now. I personally cannot say if they're gonna go up or not, if they're gonna stay here, but it's safer to get one right now. I can definitely tell you for free that the ticket at the gate is not gonna be 100 Rand. And I know a lot of people have this thing where they want to get in Aminozote.
When they're sure.
Yeah, just what I'm saying. Yeah, and another thing about the gate is that I think we're not taking cash.
Oh.
Right?
No,
it's not that.
Things happen.
Things like that happen. It's not that, but it's also just a safety thing.
Yeah.
Security reasons and stuff like that. Carrying cash is not ideal. So we're definitely gonna be swiping and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So watch this podcast episode to understand that stuff. And it's not Arango Amba and they run it last minute. But anyway, come to the show. It's gonna be amazing.
Yeah, true, guys. That's it.
Yeah.
So Rene, you're gonna see us there also. We're gonna have a live podcast.
Yeah,
actually,
definitely.
So we're gonna be there. Come say hi to us. Then the audience. Comment. So yeah, Jean. Thanks for coming, man.
Thank you very much, bro. Fist bump.
I'm not see me in the chat. I'm going to rock paper scissors.
Oh, I'm going to rock paper scissors. So
okay, Upo. Yeah.